I am still not over what happened yesterday. And to be honest with you, I don't even want to do this one. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. But hey, we're going to get into it. So let's do this 5 at 5. Number 1. Can you guess? Can you guess what I'm going to speak about? From a brilliant game of Premier League football against two really good informed teams that ended 2-1 to Man City, unfortunately for us. Am I going to talk about a player? Am I going to talk about the goals, the fans, anything about the actual game itself? Or am I going to talk about the goddamn referee? You guessed it, Stuart Atwell. I mean, I didn't want to speak about him, but you can't. You can't not speak about Stuart Atwell after that shocking performance. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to talk about the blindingly obvious things that you've seen loads of replays of already. I'm going to talk about him generally in terms of, yes, he had an awful game in terms of his decision making, when he gave Man City yellow cards so late into the game, never stopped their little sly fouls, but clamped down on Arsenal so much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw your attention to a few things. Firstly, when Rodri scored his goal, he ran over to the home fans and celebrated in front of them. So he goaded the home fans. I've seen yellow cards given for that. We've seen, in fact, players like Gabriel come and do that. Not to the same extent, obviously. Rodri didn't do it like Gabriel did. But the point is, you get a yellow card for going and celebrating and enticing the home fans when you're away from home. He did that, and he took his shirt off. When it came to anything else in the game, he was going by the letter of the law with Arsenal, with no mercy. He never took a sensible approach to say, let's just calm the situation down. Every time you could give someone a yellow card, he gave them a yellow card. Even look at the penalty. Yes, it was a penalty. Granit Xhaka stepped across and pulled a shirt. I can see why the penalty was given, but he didn't have to give him a yellow card. It wasn't a yellow card challenge. It wasn't dangerous or anything. So when it comes to Arsenal, yellow cards all over the place. When it comes to Man City, do you know what? Enticing the crowd and taking your shirt off, well, that could have been 2 yellows in itself. But Stuart Atwell was absolutely City's 12th man. And if you needed any proof of how much of a 12th man he was, towards the end of the game, he even went and spoke to a ball boy to tell him to hurry up. When have you ever seen a referee do that? I mean, this is just a joke. He may as well have been wearing a Man City shirt. And we've all seen the image of him basically marking Martinelli from Nathan Ake's goal line clearance. Have a look at this still shot here and look at the position of Stuart Atwell between Martinelli and the ball when Nathan Ake cleared it off the line. Now, if that was an Arsenal defender, I'd be giving them praise for putting off the attacker. This is an absolute joke. And let me tell you something as well. In 2012, so we are talking now 10 years ago, Stuart Atwell was demoted from the Premier League refereeing list for a series of errors. Now, let me ask you, what has been done in those 10 years to improve his performances as a referee? Because come on, let's face it, I see no improvement. And not only that, the PGMOL is designed specifically to improve the standard of refereeing in this country. In 2001 that was set up. 21 years. What has changed? What improvements have there been? Frankly, I'm getting sick of it. And I guess my question to you guys is, does there need to be more accountability for referees once they make certain decisions? Should there be almost a referee league table where we see promotion and relegation for referees based on how well they've done over the season, which might incentivize them and help them improve their own standards? Or should referees be made to come out and explain things in the media after games and say why they took certain decisions? Frankly, I'm sick of it. Absolutely sick of it. I don't understand the inconsistency. And when VAR is now there to help the referees in that high intensity moments of Premier League fixtures and they still can't get it right, something needs to change. Your suggestions below. Let me know what needs to be done. 6 minutes of madness. Now, after I'm done talking about this, I'm going to focus on the positives, because let's not forget there were a lot of positives to come out of the game. But we have to look at the 6 minutes that changed this game. from 52 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock, all the way up from 58 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. So much happened and the game got dragged away from Arsenal, partly because of referee incompetence and partly because of us, our own players, not keeping their heads. It all starts from Granit Xhaka in the penalty box. And I could have picked about 10 things to talk about, and Granit Xhaka would have been one of those. But I'm not going to speak about Granit Xhaka today because, do you know what? I think other than that incident, he had a fairly decent game. And I don't want to get onto his back after such a good team performance. But it started with his challenge in the box. It then goes with Gabriel getting a yellow card for apparently either scuffing the penalty spot or arguing with the referee too much. Either way, avoidable. Then Martinelli, even though, yes, I know Stuart Atwell got in the way of him, he still should have done better, missed the open goal. And then Gabriel again goes and gets himself sent off. All of those four things happened in the space of 6 minutes and it completely changed the game. Now, it was a really, really good performance by Arsenal and we can't let that get away from us. But those 6 minutes in a 90-minute game against such high-level opposition, as we've seen, it's enough to take the game away from you. Do you think Arsenal lost their heads in those 6 minutes? Is there a lesson from that? For me, I feel like this is something I've seen many, many times before, or when the game gets really, really frantic, very often we don't have that really, really good elite level in-game management. And I would have liked to have seen the players just take a bit of a deeper breath and make sure they stay calm and not get sucked into the fire of that part of the game. It's a real shame that those 6 minutes counted against us so much, and in the end, the pressure told and Man City won the game. But now, let's leave these negatives behind and let's move on to some of the positives out of yesterday's game. Number 3 then, let's get into the positives from yesterday's game, and that for me was the Arsenal press. I was very, very impressed with the way we pressed, because when you think about what we did to Man City yesterday, after 45 minutes in that first half, they didn't even have a shot on target. When you look at the end of the game, when you look at the match stats, Man City had 2 shots on target. That's right. One was a penalty and one was Rodri's heartbreaking injury time winner. So how were Arsenal able to limit Man City and nullify their attacking threat, press them so well, but also make sure that we retain an attacking threat and don't just defend for 90 minutes? I think a lot of credit has to go to Mikel Arteta and AirPods Albert for pulling that off. What I saw in the way I think we achieved that was the press was absolutely perfect, with all of the attackers working in line with each other. There was not a single player that didn't go and press their man when the time came. Because if you do that against Man City and you leave space in behind between the lines for Man City to occupy, you're going to get absolutely battered. It was brilliant across the whole forward line, and then the midfield really, really backed it up. And yes, I am going to come on to one of our midfielders in point number 4, but credit to Arsenal, the way they set up. And that press that I'm talking about, that now needs to be the standard. Because if we can do that against Man City and limit them to 2 shots on target, and that's when we were playing with 10 men for a long part of the game, imagine how we can bully other teams that don't have the quality of Man City. So number 4, my man of the match, the midfield maestro that we've all been begging to see, Thomas Partey. And what bad luck for us that he pulls out what I think might well be his best performance in an Arsenal shirt. And now he goes off to AFCON. Best of luck to him in AFCON. I hope he has a brilliant tournament and comes back on great form and does brilliantly with his country. But man, after that performance, I would have been very, very excited to see him play for Arsenal in the next game. But listen, it's a good sign. That is what we know, and we've seen in very, very small glimpses that Thomas Partey has got in his locker. And to do it against such a difficult midfield, against a midfield that is going to go and win the league, because that is Man City's strength. It's not like we're looking at a Man City striker saying that's why they're winning the league. It's because of an incredible midfield and defence that they have. And also, Guardiola packed that midfield with an extra man yesterday because he was worried about the fact that we had had more days to recover than they had. So Thomas Partey did such a brilliant job, displayed an absolute masterclass against a Man City midfield with an extra man. Look at his game by numbers and just appreciate how good he was yesterday. Now, very much like I was saying about how Arsenal pressed, the same question goes to Thomas Partey. Can you now perform like this in every single game? We need to see Thomas Partey play like this, because I'll tell you one thing. If he didn't play so brilliantly yesterday, the game would have been lost a long time before Rodri went and scored that goal. Thomas Partey, you're the man. Let us see it more often. And number 5, and I've saved this for last because this is about you. This is about all the Arsenal fans, the ones in the ground and the ones even on social media, everyone talking about that game yesterday. Because in the ground, what I absolutely loved, no one was leaving early. Even when the full-time whistle went, everyone stayed, they clapped their players, they gave the referees a lot of stick as well, which you can understand. But the point was, we all saw the performance and we didn't get distracted by the result. And also, let's not even let the referee distract us. We played brilliantly yesterday, and I love the fact that the fans, they realised that, they saw that, and they responded to that brilliant performance, online and offline, actually in the ground. So credit to every single one of you that didn't just get negative because we lost the game, didn't just focus on the referees, and actually gave our boys some credit because we played brilliantly. Hopefully we'll have a lot more to sing about. And as fans, all we can hope is that if we can maintain these levels, we can achieve something this season. So until next time, that's 5 at 5 done. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. Take care.